In this video, I'm going to react to the 10 weirdest injuries in NFL history. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. This is the place where I react to music, media, sports, anime, anything related to popular culture. I'll watch it with an open mind and give you my 100% honest reaction to it. And if you could please hit that like button early, I'd really appreciate it. Now this should be a very interesting one because the NFL, as we all know, is a super physical sport. You know, these guys really put their bodies on the line in virtually every single play. So because it's so physical and because players can get hit from all angles, you've got to think that, you know, there's going to be all kinds of injuries must take place, whether that's head, you know, knees, ankles, but there must be really weird ones that happen too. You know, like maybe, you know, someone's pinky finger gets snapped, like just things like that. So it made me wonder, what are the most kind of weird, obscure, sort of random injuries that have taken place? So when I was recommended this video, I knew that I had to really put it high on my list so that I could get to it and kind of answer the questions that I've got. So let's go. This is going to be me reacting to the 10 weirdest injuries in NFL history. Let's do it.
No one is immune to injury when you play in the National Football League, but every player on this list managed to injure themselves in unthinkable ways. Today, we break down the top 10 weirdest injuries in NFL history. Some happened on the field, some off, some before a game even started during the coin toss. Some of the weirdest injuries even happened in training rooms and in nightclubs. So
nightclubs, man, what happened there?
Sit back, relax, and get ready to laugh at some of the funniest, odd, and just weirdest injuries in NFL
Yeah, did you see that guy's foot? Yikes.
history.
Woo.
Orlando Brown was hit in the eye by a penalty flag.
Oh, no
This injury
way.
is possibly the wackiest one on the list. Until
No
2000,
way.
penalty flags were weighed down by metal BB pellets. Orlando Brown was a massive human shield for the Cleveland Browns offensive line in 1999. In a game against the Jaguars, Brown was caught holding a defensive lineman on a play. Naturally, the ref, Jeff Triplett, threw a penalty marker in his direction. In fact, it was a bullseye. The flag nailed Brown in his right eye, disorienting him. The ref immediately apologized, but Brown became enraged and shoved him to the ground.
No way. No way, he shoved the ref?
Getting ejected and suspended for the remainder of the season for the action. The metal BB's impact nearly blinded Brown, causing permanent damage to his right eye.
Permanent damage to his eye. Wow. Poor guy. Oh, that really sucks.
It took nearly 3 full seasons of rehab before Orlando returned to the NFL, and the Browns released him when the injury took him off the field longer than expected. After his playing days were over, Orlando Brown filed a lawsuit against the NFL for $200 million for damage to not only his eye, but his career over the incident. PierrePaul.
I would love to know, did he win that? Because I bet he did. Or maybe if he didn't, he probably settled for a good chunk of that. Because, man, that was not his fault at all. Oh my God, that's so unfortunate.
Blew his hand off with fireworks. One Independence Day changed PierrePaul's life forever. JPP is known for coming back to his hometown of Deerfield Beach, Florida every July 4th and setting off over-the-top fireworks to entertain his community. Late in the evening, JPP was setting off the last of his fireworks when one wick wouldn't stay lit. After a lot of attempts, the firework exploded and sparks encompassed Jason.
Oh no, look at his hand. Oh my God.
His entire body. He next remembered himself in the hospital bed, doctors all around trying to repair his right hand. The hand was connected by just skin and a few tendons. The explosion resulting fire blew parts of JPP's hand completely off. His career was already at a crossroads, as he was 27 and negotiating a new deal with the Giants. This freak accident put everything on hold. Initially, doctors told him that his career was over, but after 10 surgeries by specialists in Miami, JPP worked harder than he ever had before, getting back into shape and returning to the Giants.
Wow, he came back. Fair play to you, man. That's unreal. Unbelievable.
While the injury took his index finger and chunks of his hand, it brought JPP a renewed purpose in life. Plaxico Burress shot himself in the leg. On Sundays, teams often shoot themselves in the foot with silly penalties or bad fundamentals, but only one player shot himself in the quad. Plaxico Burress was the receiver who caught the game-winning touchdown in Super Bowl 42 against the undefeated Patriots. His career fell off quickly after an awful trip to a New York City club. While walking up the stairs at the club, Plaxico's gun fell off his hip underneath his jeans, so he tried to save it from hitting the ground. As he reacted to quickly catch it, his finger accidentally pulled the trigger, discharging the weapon in a crowded nightclub. The bullet went directly through the side of his quad. Fortunately, the wound wasn't life-threatening. Unfortunately, Burress was in illegal possession of a firearm and held liable for it firing in a public area. He was charged and sentenced to 2 years in prison.
Wow, he got 2 years? Wow.
And was released by the Giants because of it. Antonio Brown gave himself frostbite. Antonio Brown's career crashed and burned at an epic rate. Actually, it started with an ice burn. AB was already in hot water after fizzling out with the Pittsburgh Steelers. His relationship with his new team, the Oakland Raiders, started on thin ice. The newest athlete recovery craze is called cryotherapy, where the old ice bath is replaced with a super frozen -100-degree room for about 90 seconds. It takes specific clothing and directions to mitigate the risk of the unsustainable fridge. Well, AB didn't exactly abide by that and exposed his feet. He immediately got stage 2 frostbite in his
They need to stop showing that foot. Oh man.
feet as they swelled up and began to shed sheets of skin. The injury sidelined him for the entire Raiders training camp and permanently damaged multiple blood vessels and nerve endings in his feet. AB's lack of due diligence took him from catching frozen ropes to getting cold feet. Chris Hansen
To getting cold feet. Oh, I see what you did there.
chopped his leg with an axe. Head coach Jack Del Rio was looking for a symbolic spark for his struggling Jaguars team in 2003. He brought in a huge tree stump and a lumberjack axe, saying that the team just needed to keep chopping wood. For our amusement, we insert an NFL punter into the joke. Chris Hansen, the Jags Pro Bowl punter, watched others for weeks before he decided to take a swing himself. He pulled back and threw it down hard, so the axe went through and out the side of the stump on the way into Hansen's leg. The blade opened up a massive gash in his skin, and he was quickly brought to the hospital. The bone was visible, blood was everywhere, and Hansen's season was over for sure. The Jaguars immediately had the axe and stump removed and taken out of sight. The Jags continued to struggle that year, but Hansen went on to punt for another 6 years and 2 other teams. Maybe weapons don't have a place in NFL locker rooms.
I mean, dude, obviously hindsight is 2020, but I mean, was it really a good idea to put an axe in there? An axe?
Who knows? Owen Schmitt cut his head on his own helmet. Owen Schmitt was a vintage fullback for the Seattle Seahawks, a blocking ball of muscle. But no matter how bad of a dude Owen was, he was going to be remembered for one pregame moment than his play on the field. Attempting to fire himself up before a game, Schmitt began bashing his helmet against his head.
Oh man, even just
My grandpa always said, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And Owen did just that. He ran through the tunnel with a
oh no, he's completely covered.
crimson mask, and it took no time before cameras zoomed in on Owen's gashed head. While it probably hurt very badly when the adrenaline died off, it definitely helped Schmidt's credibility as an absolutely crazy man. Schmitt played the game with a bandaged head and a little more crazy in his eye, helping lead the potent Seahawks run game. Landry injured his groin paintballing. Washington safety Landry missed an early training camp practice for a strained groin. Pretty standard, right? Well, not exactly. He was injured in a team bonding outing after a practice. Well, that can happen, but not usually like this. The team's number 6 overall pick was pelted in the family jewels in a paintball war. The shot left him laboring to walk the next day. Washington's coaching staff pulled him out of practice to ensure no further injury, and he was examined by the training staff to make sure it was just a contusion and not anything more serious. Landry only missed one practice, resuming business as usual from then on. But this goes to prove that the unwritten rule of no cups in football does not carry over to the paintball field. Turk Edwards hurt his knee during a coin toss. We have to travel back in time 80 years for this one, when the Washington Redskins played the New York Giants in 1940. Turk Edwards was the captain and a player-coach of the Skins, who walked out to represent his team for the coin toss. The ceremony went pretty normally until the very last second. As the two captains shook hands, Turk quickly pivoted back to his sideline, his cleat hooked to the ground, and his knee gave way. Somehow, Edwards managed to blow out his ACL during the coin toss. The injury basically finished his 8-year playing career. Turk moved on to become the head coach of Washington for a few years and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1969. Thankfully for fans, game fields are made much better nowadays. Imagine locking in your fantasy lineup just to find out your star running back is out for the year because of a coin toss. Brutal. Nate Burleson crashed his car because of his pizza. The old saying goes, only a small few even get the privilege of having a cup of coffee in the NFL. But only Nate Burleson got a slice of pizza. Burleson was driving home on the highway with 2 takeout pizzas, riding shotgun in the wee hours of the morning. The top pie started to slide onto the floorboard of his Yukon.
Oh no, so he bent over to get it and took his eye off the road? I'm guessing.
So Nate quickly went to snatch it back into place. In doing so, he overcorrected the steering wheel of his car, crashing it into the highway median wall at 70 miles an hour. While no reports of the pizza's safety surfaced, Burleson's injuries were non-life-threatening. It was still unfortunate for Nate and the Detroit Lions when they found out he broke his arm in 2 places during the wreck. The injury ended his season just as he hit career highs. Ultimately, it finished Burleson's career. The Lions released Burleson soon after, but it isn't all bad for Nate, who is a mainstay in NFL broadcasting nowadays, and DiGiorno gave him a free year's supply of frozen pizzas so it would never happen again. Bill Grammatica tore his ACL celebrating a field goal. Oh, kickers. Bill Grammatica was a promising USF kicker drafted by the Cardinals in the 4th round. Early in a December game against the New York Giants, Grammatica hit a routine 42-yard field goal. He took a couple of steps before leaping off the ground, fist-pumping in celebration, but everything came quickly crashing.
Oh my God. I mean, just, you would hate that to be you, because you're celebrating, right? I mean, poor guy, but you got to imagine he probably felt quite embarrassed, you know?
Down, and so did he. As soon as his leg hit the turf, Grammatica tumbled to the ground and grabbed his knee in wincing pain. This was like the football version of those nightmares you had as a kid when you dreamt you forgot your pants before a big speech. After evaluation, Bill suffered a torn ACL, ending his season. The hilarious injury also effectively ended Grammatica's NFL career, as the injury impaired his plant leg and his power on long-distance kicks. Grammatica only played 2 more seasons in the league, and a quick cup of coffee in the Arena Football League before retiring. Grammatica will forever be known as the goofy kicker who got hurt celebrating. So there you have it, the weirdest injuries in NFL history. What's the weirdest way you've...
I mean, so many of those. I mean, probably all of those, just so unfortunate. I mean, complete freak accidents. Like the first guy who, you know, his eyesight was really, really impaired by the ref throwing the flag on the play. I mean, I need to know if he got that settlement, he got the settlement, because that is just so unlucky. Obviously, I don't approve of him, you know, trying to hit the umpire or the ref, but yeah, I mean, that would enrage me. And you know, the guy who was just trying to get the pizza and he crashed. I mean, it's just some really, really unfortunate incidents here. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and keep throwing the recommendations my way. I know I say it all the time, but they genuinely help me out, because if I know you enjoyed watching something, I'll definitely enjoy reacting to it. So like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, keep throwing the recommendations, and I'll catch you in the next one.